Hey y'all, it's your friendly neighborhood English major, and today I'm going to tell y'all about sexuality in ancient Greece. I'll start with a story. Some years ago, never mind how many, I was in Latin class and we were reading the Iliad. Virgil had just referenced Ganymede, and the teacher stopped and asked us if we were familiar with the story. For those of you who don't know, Ganymede was a handsome youth who had the misfortune of attracting Zeus's attention. Zeus turned into a giant eagle, swooped down, and kidnapped him to Olympus to be his, cupbearer. That's it. That's the story. The teacher told us as much, but one boy was still unclear on the concept. "I thought you said Ganymede was a boy," he asked. The room went totally silent. The teacher looked at him, half amused and half pitying, and said, "Yes, I did." You could see the comprehension dawning on his face. I'll explain sexuality in the ancient Mediterranean the same way that teacher explained it to us all those years ago. Half the population is like this, and half the population is like this. But when you really think about it, everybody is like this. And to the ancients, if you were doing this, you had more power. If you were doing this, you had less power. So you wanted to be doing this, and if women did this, it was bad. This is, broadly speaking, true across the Greco-Roman world. Rome was a lot more uptight about it than Greece, as you might expect, and it was only acceptable to be the pen with men of a lower social class than yourself. In ancient Greece, social norms varied from city-state to city-state, but to be general, I'm going to be talking about the ancient Greek practice of a sort of sexual mentor-mentee relationship called pederasty, which is not what it sounds like, I swear. Yes, pederasty sounds a lot like a certain word, but it does not mean the same thing. Most scholars think that the younger members of these arrangements were about 15 to 17, which was the same age at which Greek girls might expect to be married. A relationship was seen as mutually beneficial. The older partner could help the younger partner in his military and political career. And the older partner was not taking advantage of the younger partner, or doing anything without his consent. In any case, the fact remains that this was, whether we like it or not. And it would be foolish, not to mention ahistorical, to pretend otherwise, just because it makes us uncomfortable. Although these aren't the words the Greeks used, today we describe the two pederastic roles as the erastes and the eromenos, with the erastes being the older dominant pen, and the eromenos being the younger submissive cap. These relationships typically ended when the eromenos got married, but, well, that never stopped anybody. Female homosexuality is less well documented. Notably, we have the poet Sappho of Lesbos, who was so gay that they named gay after her island. Flame on, Sappho. Flame on. But it isn't clear how lesbians were perceived by society. All of this is to say that the Greeks and Romans didn't think in terms of homosexual and heterosexual. They thought in terms of sexual. A good analogy is that they assumed everybody was bisexual. But while it is important to recognize the social constructs that regulated sexuality in ancient Greece, it is equally important to acknowledge that they were just that, social constructs. People never really change, and call it what you will, frame it in whatever social conventions you like. When it comes right down to it, whether we're talking about an epic poem written thousands of years ago, or a comic published yesterday, we are talking about the same thing. That's all I got for today, folks. Thanks for watching, and happy reading.